All right, a couple things to address. First, yes, the number in the thumbnail is accurate. Assuming we haven't changed the thumbnail, just throw the thumbnail right here in case we've changed it. By the time I left Twitch, I was making about 10 to 20K a month on the platform. And then by leaving and moving to YouTube, since then I've made about 1 to 2K a month. Streaming, that is. So we should probably talk about whether or not that was a mistake. Hey, if you're looking to put together your perfect gaming and streaming setup, let's talk about today's sponsor, Elgato, and their entire multi-mount system. The multi-mount is a modular steel arm system that makes it possible to mount almost anything, almost anywhere. So cameras, lights, mics, your phone can all be mounted to desks, the ground, to walls, to other multi-mounts. Yes, that's a thing. So for example, you can set up the perfect top-down camera for your cooking stream or your mouse cam, or mount your setup and your lights to a single stand to make it easy to adjust your camera angle on the fly. Just let me show you how dependent my rig is on this system. Camera 1, wall mount. Camera 2, wall mount plus flex arm to extend. The microphone, wall mount. The light above it, wall mount plus flex arm. Camera 3, wall mount. Light number 2, wall mount plus longer flex arm. I feel like you're getting the picture here. So if you have something and you want to mount it somewhere, pick up the Elgato multi-mount at the link in the description below. By the way, Elgato, I feel like that should be your new slogan. You know, if you have something and you want it somewhere, it's great. Let's talk. Before we move on, why don't you go down and hit the like button for me because it's free and it helps out a ton. And then while you're down there, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already for more videos like this. That's all. So in order for me to give you the full picture about this, we need to address 3 things. First thing, why would someone leave Twitch for YouTube? 2, why would that departure cause such a massive decline in income? Like, is there something wrong with YouTube as a streaming platform? And then 3, in hindsight, should I have stayed? Like, and consequently, should you leave or should you stay, right? So let's talk about the move.
I'm joining YouTube!
Just a new place.
Are you ready for something new?
For someone to completely leave an established community and go to a different platform and basically start from scratch over there, there has to be a reason for it. They have to feel like the new platform is going to be a better experience or will inevitably beat out the old one. And so this is kind of a question that we've been talking about for a while, which is YouTube gonna beat Twitch? Is Twitch going to eventually shut down? Social media platforms shutting down is not a new thing, by the way. Even massive platforms like Vine can be the #1 downloaded and used app on the App Store one year and the next year completely disappear. Or sometimes you have a challenger platform like Mixer trying to shake things up and take over and then realize that it's gonna take a lot more time and a lot more money than they thought and kill the project before, cut their losses kind of thing, right? The bottom line is it's very important to be able to recognize patterns about why certain platforms win and why certain platforms lose. And a couple of the main tells that you can recognize are how much is the platform innovating and staying up to date with trends, how much the creators on the platform like or dislike the platform, how much money the platform is making, and then of course, how do all those metrics on platform A compare to the competitive platform B, right? Like a platform can be a 6 or a 7 across all those things and be just fine as long as they don't have competition. But the moment another one comes along and maybe is an 8 or a 9 across the board, you're gonna have some problems. But based on my personal analysis of the situation, I determined that if YouTube wanted to win this fight, they would inevitably win this fight. Despite all of its flaws, no other platform has been able to maintain and build creator careers and businesses for an extended period of time. Like no other platform comes close to YouTube in that regard. So as my Twitch partnership contract was ending, I had to debate, do I extend it 1 extra year or do I move over to YouTube a little bit early than I'd like to? And I had to decide, what is this Twitch YouTube feud going to look like 1 year from now? On one hand, if I stayed with Twitch, there was a risk that YouTube could come out swinging that year and a major shift could start happening that year and I'd be stuck on a dying platform and I'd be the last to move over to YouTube, which 1, doesn't look good for someone like me who makes videos like this, but 2, that's the whole reason our music careers died, is we were too late to leave Vine for YouTube and Vine died fast and hard. And eventually Vine completely shut down and our music careers tapered off over the next couple months. That's the way that goes. Or do I move to YouTube now, become an early adopter, get a guaranteed cut in viewership, a guaranteed cut in monetization, because YouTube monetization, at least YouTube Live monetization, is nowhere near where Twitch is at right now with Twitch Prime and gifted subs and everything, and not really have a promised timeline of when things are going to be back to the way they were when I was on Twitch. That second option felt like less of a risk to me, considering I had the Senpai Gaming YouTube channel, which brought in brand deals and brought in revenue. I also had Stream Beats bringing in revenue. I could withstand a pretty hefty hit to my finances and take a risk there. It was important to me that I stood by my analysis and that I would take the risk of being too early rather than take the risk of being too late. And like in hindsight, like looking back on this a year later, this seasons haven't really changed much. Like I could have easily stayed on Twitch for at least one other year and been just fine. I'd still be an early adopter if I moved over today. So let's talk about that income drop, because this has ended up being a very expensive year, and that hasn't been my favorite decision. So what caused such a dramatic decline in revenue? There are three main reasons streamers lose revenue when they move from Twitch to YouTube. First, the obvious one, the lack of viewership. Most of live streaming viewership is still on Twitch, so with fewer viewers on YouTube, fewer people are there to support. However, this is probably also the smallest factor, because the people who do move over to watch a streamer on YouTube are going to be their most loyal fans and probably their biggest supporters. So most of the people they're losing aren't people who supported monetarily to begin with. Reason number two, lack of monetization tools on YouTube. When I was on Twitch, the majority of my income was Twitch Prime subs and gifted subs, and both of those disappeared immediately. That alone slashed my revenue in more than half. Less than half? You know what I mean. Even today, YouTube has finally added gifted memberships, but it's super limited compared to Twitch's gifted subs. But third, and I think this is the biggest reason, Twitch has failed to cultivate the support culture that Twitch has. I mean, when I was on Twitch, I constantly had 7 rolling subs. I was subscribed to 7 channels on average at any given point. I want to say on YouTube, I've hit the join button maybe once. We just have grown to expect YouTube to be free, whereas Twitch has done an amazing job of gamifying monetization. Things like hype trains and animated emotes, and just the overall fact that Twitch subs have been a part of Twitch culture for the better part of a decade. YouTube memberships, it doesn't sound nearly as exciting as fun. It's the same thing, but YouTube needs to do a much better job of branding their monetization options. So these things have been major contributions to why I've lost $12,000 a month in revenue. But there was also one more pretty significant contributing factor. In order for a channel to succeed on YouTube, you have to do more than live stream. You have to make full-length videos. You have to make shorts. It is a part of the ecosystem. And when moving over, vastly overestimated my ability to run 2 full-time channels and Senpai Records and Senpai Animation and the million other things we're doing on the side. I let my channel down, and not making content is a silver bullet for YouTube channel. Which begs the question, would I do it again? And should you move from Twitch to YouTube? Looking back over the past year and seeing that the Twitch and YouTube landscape hasn't really changed as much as I thought it would, if I could do it again, I would have extended my Twitch partnership contract 1 extra year. And I would have joined YouTube around this time, this year, after they announced gifted memberships, not losing that revenue. I would have had an extra $150,000 in my pocket, and I still, at this point, would be considered an early adopter. But I knew that risk, and I took it. And I still think, looking back, based on the information I had at the time, I think I made the right call. As for anyone considering switching to YouTube today, here are my 2 cents, and take it with a grain of salt. If you are starting today from scratch, you don't have any kind of Twitch audience yet, you're not making any money there, yes, I would start on YouTube. I still think YouTube is gonna win. I'm actually more convinced of that now. I can't say anything, but I know of a couple more big migrations from Twitch to YouTube. And let's say you start on YouTube today and I'm wrong, and Twitch does end up winning the live streaming wars. You've still grown an audience on a viable platform that you can continue to monetize, and you can start on Twitch. It's a very low risk play. And as for streamers who already have somewhat of a community built on Twitch, maybe you stream for 5 viewers, maybe you stream for 500 viewers and you don't want to lose that, you don't have to move yet. Start to make full-length videos and shorts over on YouTube and build that pool of subscribers while you're still streaming on Twitch and making the money over there. If the inevitable does happen and YouTube takes over or Twitch shuts down, you already have an audience that you can start streaming for, and you didn't have to take a risk to build it. Both of these strategies are winning scenarios regardless of whether Twitch or YouTube wins. Like, unless Facebook wins. I'm kidding. So anyway, what are your thoughts? Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Put them in the comments down below. If you don't have any thoughts, just toss your favorite emoji down there. Get some engagement on the video. I appreciate it. Also hit the like button if you haven't yet. You're this far into the video. I know you liked the video. I hope you found this interesting. I hope this helped. Go subscribe to my personal channel if you haven't yet. And as always, happy streaming.